The year 2020 will forever be remembered as the year that has taken many legends and famous individuals from the world. It was recently announced that reggae producer Bonnie Striker Lee passed away. He has been described as a legendary reggae producer. He was born Edward Bonnie Lee Sr. He passed away on Tuesday, October 6, 2020. His passing happened between the hours of 1 and 2 p.m. The cause of his passing was a cardiac arrest. He passed away at a hospital in the corporate area. Mr. Lee was all of 79 years old at the time of his passing. His family is in total shock and are shaken by the veteran's passing, although he has been sick for a while. According to Annette Wong Lee, it is true, Bonnie Striker Lee has passed away. Now, Annette Wong Lee is the mother of 4 of his children. The doctors have stated that it was a result of respiratory failure. It was similar to a heart failure. Mr. Lee had gone in to change his catheter at the hospital. He had a full-time nurse with him. His son Edward Jr. had gone to buy him some food. When Edward Jr. called the nurse to check on his father, she was crying. And then the doctor called Edward to say that he should come to the hospital at the moment. So immediately, Edward Jr. returned to the hospital, but he also knew that something was amiss. Eventually, Annette joined Edward Jr. and Kirk, the sons of Bonnie Lee, at the hospital, and they were given the sad news. Her daughters, Tony Ann and Bonnie Lee, were equally devastated by their father's passing. It's rough. Striker Edward Jr. not taking it so well. That's why I am talking on his phone now. They were very, very close. He's not talking to anyone. He cannot hold a conversation without breaking down. Bonnie Striker Lee was diabetic and had a number of ailments. He had been hospitalized for 6 weeks. Then he was later discharged for 4 days. And after that, the family had to rush him back to the hospital for this issue. Bonnie Striker Lee was one of the most profound individuals in reggae music. He was extremely influential. He worked on dubs and instrumentals. Lee was among the first producers to realize the potential of reusing the same rhythm tracks with different singers and DJs, partly out of necessity. The latter halves of the 1970s saw Bonnie Lee working with some of Jamaica's top new talent, which included Linval Thompson, Leroy Smart, and Barry Brown. Mr. Lee started his career working as a record plugger for Duke Reed's Treasure Isle label in 1962. He later performed similar duties for Leslie Kong. Lee then moved into production of records, his first hit record coming with Roy Shirley's Music Field on Whirl in 1967. Bonnie Lee later went on to set up his own label, the first release being Lloyd Jackson's Listen to the Beat. He later produced further hits during 1967 and 1968 by Lester Sterling and Stranger Cole, along with Derrick Morgan, Slim Smith, and the Uniques, My Conversation, Pat Kelly and the Sensations, and all of this work established him as one of Jamaica's top and premier producers. Between the years of 1969 and 1972, Bonnie Lee produced classic hits including Slim Smith's Everybody Needs Love, Max Romeo's Wet Dream, Delroy Wilson's Better Must Come, Eric Donaldson's Cherry O Baby, and John Holt's Stick By Me. And I'm sure many of you listening are familiar with these songs and also love the reggae music that was produced by Mr. Bonnie Lee. Bonnie Lee was a pioneer of the United Kingdom reggae market. licensing his productions to the Palmer Brothers and Trojan Records in the early 1970s. In 1983, Mr. Bunny Lee produced the first album by future star Beenie Man, and this album was titled The Invincible Beenie Man, the 10-year-old DJ Wonder. I'm sure that Beenie Man is grieving at this time, and he has had many memories with this legendary reggae producer who started and basically launched his career from his early childhood years. In the year 2008, Mr. Lee was awarded the Order of Distinction by the Jamaican government in recognition of his massive contribution to Jamaican music. And of course, it should be noted that his contribution to Jamaican music spans the globe as well. A documentary film directed by Digory Kenrick, titled I Am the Gorgon, Bonnie Striker Lee and the Roots of Reggae, was released. This film told the story of Bonnie Striker Lee's life from childhood to current day. It featured Hugh Roy, Dennis Al Capone, Lee Scratch Perry, Sly and Robbie, Johnny Clark, John Holt, and many others. In March 2015, a disaster at Lee's Gorgon Entertainment studio destroyed equipment with a value estimated at Jamaican $100 million. Medical team at the hospital were extremely surprised at the passing of Bonnie Striker Lee. They never expected him to pass so quickly. Mr. Bonnie Striker Lee was born on August 23rd in 1941. He grew up in the Greenwich Farm area of Kingston. He played an integral role in introducing reggae music to the United Kingdom in the early 1970s. He is considered to be a pioneer of the UK reggae market. Lee was instrumental in producing early dub music, and he worked with his friend and dub pioneer King Tubby in the early 1970s. He also worked with Lee Scratch Perry and broke the dominance of producers Coxsone Dodd and Duke Reid. According to his biography, Bonnie Lee began his career working as a record plugger and later went on to producing records by himself. His first hit was Music Field in 1967, and he later went on to produce a myriad of hits by a myriad of Jamaican artists. Of course, by the mid-1970s, he was working with other successful singers like Johnny Clark, Owen Gray, and Cornell Campbell. In the 1970s, we saw the emergence of his trademark flying cymbal sound, which was developed by drummer Carlton Santa Davis on Johnny Clark's None Shall Escape the Judgment and Move Out of Babylon. His achievements have been logged in a British film that was recently released in 2013. We would like to extend our condolences to the family, friends, and associates of Mr. Bonnie Striker Lee. And also, please leave your comments down below and share your memories of Bonnie Striker Lee's music. Thanks for watching.